So we've pretty much gone through a lot of the mechanics of how to use the budget, some of the philosophy on why to actually use YNAB. So we've gone through a number of those things. The last thing I want to do, I'll probably get into some troubleshooting things, how to fix some errors in following sections. But mostly this is just, okay, you've gone through, you've budgeted. How can you keep it maintained? What are some things to keep in mind as you go forward and just keep this thing maintained for the long term? And mostly that's just coming up with a kind of a practice, a daily practice, a weekly review, a monthly review, just to stay on top of it so that you're prepared and it's top of mind. So for a weekly review, I talked about this in the other videos. Mostly what you're going to do on a daily basis is going to be looking in your accounts, importing, categorizing, and approving transactions. So making sure that you import all your transactions, you categorize them in the right categories. If they show up as categorized, for example, if you go to the grocery store and it shows up as groceries, but it wasn't groceries, it was something else, that you're updating the categories. YNAB is going to try to learn, if you go to certain places, this is what you're spending your money on, but sometimes it gets it wrong. So you just want to make sure that the categories are right if they're already pre-filled. If they're not pre-filled, adding a category, putting it in the right category, and then just approving all the things that need to be approved. That's just on a daily basis. If you're doing that on a daily basis, it's not tough to keep up with. I would say max 5 minutes. It just doesn't take too long as you're keeping on top of it. If you wait too long and you go 4 days, 5 days, a week without doing the transactions, it will get overwhelming. You'll have 50 to go through in a given week or 30. It'll just end up being a lot, especially if you do have two people working off of the same account, you and a partner, you and a spouse, whatever it is, they'll add up fast. So the best thing to do is try to stay on top of them on a daily basis because it's minimal. It's very easy to keep track and stay on top of things if you're doing it on a regular basis. Other things to review on a daily basis is just kind of going through your budget and scrolling through these available balances over here on the right, just to see, is there anything that's out of the ordinary? Do I need to move some money around? Do I have money to be budgeted I need to put in some of these categories? It won't take you long. You'll be able to scroll up and down pretty fast and say, well, I don't need to move anything. Everything's fine. Or you might say, this is weird. I've already spent $1,000 in groceries. It's the first week of the month. That's way out of the ordinary. Did I miscategorize something? Is there something odd? Or I'm just spending a lot more in groceries because I'm stuck on lockdown or something. Who knows? It won't take you long just to scroll through pretty quickly. And that's about it on a daily basis. I would say, like I said, max, maybe that's 5 minutes to go through on a daily basis. And even that would probably be a lot because it doesn't take a long time to categorize transactions. On a weekly basis, it's a little bit of the same. You're obviously not doing transactions, but again, you're going to go through what's still available. If I have X amount of dollars in groceries, or X amount of, if you're doing the fund money, how much do I have left to go? Just see a little bit of awareness on what's available in these various categories and if you need to move anything around. Also, is there anything out of the ordinary? Is there something that's really high that I spent a lot on that maybe I miscategorized something, or it's just going up? Again, on a weekly basis, you're going to do that. Another thing to do good on a weekly basis is, one, look back at the previous week, but also what's coming up over the next week. Is there something that popped up that I wasn't prepared for, or that I forgot about, or that I need to allocate funds for? Is it a friend's birthday? Did I get invited to an event that I wasn't aware of a week ago? Just keeping those things in mind so that you know, oh, this is going to be something I need to allocate money for that I didn't before. I need to move some stuff around, whatever the case is. And then taking a few minutes just to say, in my experience anyways, most of the time, if it's a couple, a spouse, partner, whatever it may be, there's usually one person that's kind of managing the day-to-day budget. It's good just to check in with the other person to say, this is how things are going. What do you think? This is what I'm thinking. Just to communicate what things are going on. It won't take a really long time to do that. And if you need to make changes, you can make them pretty quick. And then as far as your accounts are concerned, just reconciling the balances. So we talked about going through and reconciling to make sure that what are my account balances in YNAB showing versus if I go to my actual online account, do these things match? Do I have my balances right, or are they way off? If they're right, you can go ahead and just reconcile, which I covered in another video. If they're wrong, you can still reconcile. You just need to fix what's wrong. You either have a transaction that's in the wrong account. It's double counted. Sometimes it's pending transactions, so you got to be careful of that. It depends on the bank how that works, but you just want to make sure that your balances are matching up, and if they're not, try to fix it if you can on a weekly basis. On a monthly basis, again, it's going to be similar to the daily and weekly. You're just going to go a little bit more deep into what you're saying, and you're going to look a little bit more big picture. How did last month go? Was it how I expected? Were my budget categories right? Did I overdo it on anything? Am I overdoing it on a certain category on a regular basis because maybe my expectations are I was going to spend X and I'm really spending Y? I need to be prepared for that going forward. I thought I was spending $1,000 a month in groceries, but I'm consistently spending $1,500. Just being prepared to say I need to recognize it. I'm just not. I'm spending more than I thought I was in groceries, or whatever the case may be. So just how did last month go? Is there anything I need to change or expect differently going forward for the next month? Do I need to update my goals? Do I need to add new goals? Are there goals that I've accomplished that I need to figure out what I'm going to do? Is there anything that I need to change going forward? Same thing, spouse, partner, just communicating with them. This is what's going on. Here's what are there any goals you want to add, or the things that you want to adjust on here, just so everybody's on the same page. And that's mostly what you need to do. Any of those individually, a daily review is probably less than 5 minutes. A weekly review is probably 5 to 10 minutes. It won't take you a really long time to do. Maybe a monthly review is, again, 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you're adding new goals and are changing things around. But those consistent actions and just staying on top of it on a regular basis will make it much easier, and you'll have a better idea of the flow and cadence of your bills. When are things coming in? When are they going out? You'll be much more comfortable. You won't be surprised by certain things. So just staying on top of them with regular reviews, daily, weekly, monthly, maximum over the course of a month. I'd be surprised if you're spending more than a couple of hours on your budget over the entire course of a month. So it's not a huge time commitment to do that. So that's it for daily, weekly, monthly. If we can, we're going to try to work up a worksheet just in case if you want to go through on a piece of paper that you can print out. We're going to try to work up a worksheet. So if that's done, you'll see that in the resources just below where the video is posted. It should be a PDF. Hopefully we'll complete that soon, but if we've got it done, it'll be there for you. So hope that was helpful, and see you in the